Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Viewers Club. Yay! I'm Megan.
I am
I'm
Osama.
Megan. There's Osama.
I'm Tess.
And I'm Lucas.
Why?
There we are.
I don't know, to be honest. Actually, I do, but that's another story for another time.
Stop giving him existential crisis. He still wants to be James. It's whole thing.
Go check it out.
You want to be James?
Go check it out on the arrival.
Whoa, hold up,
understand.
Lucas. You want to be James?
I want to. James is like my favorite guy.
Okay. We're gonna have to talk after we finish this.
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay.
Anyway, we're gonna move on now. So welcome to a new episode of the Viewers Club called Ranking, where we rank movies and franchises or characters or TV shows. In the future, there's going to be a lot to come on this. But today, we are going to be ranking Pixar movies. In the anticipation for the newest Pixar movie to come out, and I think it's scheduled to come out in November now, is Soul. I'm very excited for it. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer or anything for it.
Yeah.
But
Super
it looks super cute, and which is always Pixar. I do want to give a little disclaimer on this. One, there might be some spoilers for the 22 Pixar movies that do exist. I'm going to throw them up now. Those are the movies that we're going to be talking about in a little bit. And I do also want to give another disclaimer that we are basing this purely on nostalgia factor, purely on storytelling, purely just on the enjoyment that we got from watching the movies, not based on any a lot of things that have come up with either actors or producers or storylines or anything like that. We are just purely doing this for the enjoyment that we have from these movies, either from when we were younger or whether we have seen them recently. So keep that in mind. It's just supposed to be fun. We're not going to go deep into deep diving dark topics today because it's Pixar, and Pixar is fun and lighthearted. The big thing I do want to point out is that not all of us have seen all of the Pixar movies, which is okay because there's 22 of them and they're kind of hard to watch anywhere other than Disney Plus,
Right.
or unless you own them. And so we're mainly just going to be ranking based on all the ones that we have seen.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I've seen all of them, which I finished the last couple a few days ago, so I've seen all of them. Lucas, you've seen 21 of them?
Yeah, I've seen all of them except for Cars 3.
Tessa, how many did you see again?
About 10. I've got 10.
That's okay. That's still a good number. Yeah, that's about half of them, so that's still fair. Osama, you saw about what? 12? 12. So we're going to start with my bottom choice, and then we're going to add Lucas in on it, and then we're going to go from 21 to 16, and then 15 to 12, because that's where Osama comes in, and then we're going to do 12 to about 10, which is where Tessa comes in, and then it's going to be our final from 10 to about 6, and then 5 to 1. So it's going to be a little weird. It'll make sense in the end. And then, of course, you're going to hear this sound. I hope I inserted the sound. If any of us have any of the movies that line up on the same number, which they might, who knows, it'll be interesting. I'm very excited. So, since I've seen all of them, my bottom movie choice is Cars 2. I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. It wasn't... I do want to clarify this because I think all of us will agree. We're ranking these movies not because we think they're bad. It's just because we didn't enjoy them as much as the other ones that they're competing against. Yeah. We love Pixar. We love the movies that they make. But just to keep that in mind, it doesn't mean that we hate the movies the lower they get on the spectrum. If we do hate them, we'll let you know. So, But 22 for me, I put Cars 2. I didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
It's also kind of really weird when you compare it against all of the other movies that Pixar has made.
Yeah.
You know? It was still really fun, but that's where I'm at. So now we're moving on to the 21 to 16 numbers. This is where Lucas is going to come in with me. So, Lucas, can you give us your 21 to 16 places?
Just all of them at once?
Like, start from 21 and then move your way backwards, and then we'll discuss.
Got it. Okay, so we're not like going back and forth between each number.
I mean, we can.
Okay.
Let's do it that way. Give me your 21 spot position.
Got it. So number 21 was Cars 2. That's also the bottom of my list. Yeah, I kind of judged these off of basically which one I could watch over and over again and which one I enjoyed the story, and I just didn't feel like watching Cars 2 again. Just was the...
Watched it.
Watched
it once and you're like...
and I was like, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I did love the wasabi joke with Mater. That was my favorite part of that movie. Is that me and ice cream? Well, put some more on. Oh my gosh.
That sounded nothing like Larry the Cable Guy.
No, it didn't. But you know, we have our limits.
You do a good Shaggy.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, man.
You do a good. That's a different franchise that we might have to talk about later.
Oh, we
Yes,
will.
indeed.
If I have anything to say about it, we will.
21 for me was Cars.
Mhm.
No offense to Cars. Again,
Yeah.
I don't think Cars was really marketed towards girls.
Yeah.
Not to say that some girls didn't enjoy it. I just didn't really enjoy the story
Mhm.
all that much. It's still a fun story, and I can go back and watch it, but I have to, I don't actively go out seeking to watch Cars again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is weird, yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I liked it. It was cute and kind of adorable. It had a fun little storyline for it, but
Yeah.
not my favorite of all of the Pixar movies. And there are a lot, so.
Right.
For 20, I ranked Finding Dory,
Okay.
the sequel to Finding Nemo. And I want to give them props. I loved the way they were able to make the ocean look so real. That was insane.
Yeah.
And it still had that emotional impact, but it just reminded me of Finding Nemo. You know,
Okay.
it just felt like a copy and paste of Finding Nemo, just with just a little different side quests and stuff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's not that I didn't enjoy it. It just was very, I felt like I was having deja vu at some moments, which I guess it fits because Dory does that
Yeah.
frequently.
Right.
What about you, Lucas? What was your 20?
So 20 for me was Cars. Same thing. It's not a movie that I actively you know what? I feel like watching Cars today. That just never happens. I own it. But I don't know. It just I liked it and it was cute. But again, you know, the story just it was one of those I've watched it. I'm satisfied. I'm good.
I don't need it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's combine 19 and 18
Okay.
positions. So number 19 for me was Incredibles 2. Again, it's a sequel. It's not that I didn't enjoy it. It's just not really what I thought Incredibles 2 was going to be. It still had a lot of funny moments. It was still really fun to watch.
Right.
And then number 18 kind of falls into the same category because it's Monsters University.
Mm-hmm.
It falls into the same category as Incredibles 2, and I think Finding Dory as well. It's just the sequels, for me, for Pixar, though enjoyable, don't really turn out to be my favorite movies.
Yeah, I agree.
But Monsters University was really fun because it reminds me a lot of the high stress of college life.
Yeah.
It really encapsulates the
Absolutely.
extreme tense that college students go under, besides the fact that, that they're monsters and that they're getting kicked out of college. Plus, it was really fun to see the friendship between Sully and Mike Wazowski, bloom.
Absolutely.
In its own way. What was your 19 and 18 spots?
19 for me was A Bug's Life. I didn't see A Bug's Life when it first came, because it was one of the more original Pixar movies.
It's like their second one, so I don't think you were born when that came
I
out.
wasn't. No, I wasn't. And I'd seen a lot of the original Pixar movies, but A Bug's Life wasn't one of them. And so when I did watch it, I was just like, huh, cool. I liked it, but it wasn't, I liked the story in it, but it's just ultimately one that I wouldn't seek out to watch again, or, anything like that. And then number 18 for me was The Good Dinosaur. I really liked that movie, and I feel like it got a lot of hate from like the Pixar, like people that watch Pixar. They were like,
The extreme fans.
Yeah.
They're like, no!
yeah, and
It's so bad!
yeah, and even
That's all I remember from it.
Yes.
Was the fan base lost their
they
mind.
did not like it. And even though it's at near the bottom of my list, it's again not one that I didn't like. It's just out of all of the options, it's not one that I would, I guess, go back to a rewatch. I thought the characters were so cute. I loved Arlo, and I loved the little child. It was so, all of it was adorable. So yeah, I'd say
Nice.
that's 18.
Nice.
Yes.
We're going to combine 17 and 16 again. So my 17 was Cars 3.
Mhm.
So I know that you haven't seen
I have not.
it. Weirdly enough, this was my favorite Cars
Yeah.
movie. I think I just liked it because of the story that was being told. Not to mention the visuals of it were extremely pretty.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like, out of anything, I give props to
Mhm.
Pixar for the way that they're able to make something look so real,
Yeah.
but still fit into their world and the
Mhm.
design that they have for their characters. Cars 3 was really fun. Again, this isn't one that I would probably actively go out and see, but it might be one I revisit in the future. Adorable, really great storyline. I really liked it. Number 16 for me was The Good Dinosaur. And I agree with you. I was kind of surprised that people gave it as much hate
Yeah.
as it got. It's really, I don't want to say generic story, but very like simple
Yeah.
storyline where it's
Mhm.
finding one's self while also kind of being weirdly enough a pet story, like a dog story
Yeah.
with a spot.
Dinosaur.
Like,
Yeah.
It was also really weird seeing a human be like a dog.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
But it was really cute, and the visuals were incredible. I got sucked in just on that alone.
Yeah. Yes.
I will say the only thing that was difficult for me when I first watched the movie
Mhm.
was that the characters stand out a little too much with the terrain that they're in.
Yeah, I get
You know what I
mean? Yeah.
Like, the terrain looks so real, but the characters just don't. They don't even kind of lean into that realism anymore,
Yeah.
They really stand out, and that's a little weird to watch at first time I saw it.
Mhm.
But still really cute, and I really liked it.
Definitely, yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, so kind of building off what you said, I feel bad because all of the movies that I've mentioned, I did love the visuals. I love the way the cars look, and I love the terrain of The Good Dinosaur. So there is that. It's kind of like you said, the simplicity of the story or just rewatchability. But 17 for me was Finding Dory. For kind of the same reasons as you said. I loved the way the water looked, and I loved the way all of the animals looked. But it was again just kind of like, okay, here's a story in this universe. It was I think it was just kind of an excuse to revisit Nemo, which I'm fine with. I love Nemo, but just kind of story
We'll get to that
wise,
ranking later.
yes, compared to the other stories, I would say not my fave. But 16 for me was Up, and
Oh.
yeah, so
Here comes our first, here comes a big head hitter with you and me. Once you find out where I put Up, well, you and I are going to have it.
love it. Controversy. Yeah, I think I didn't.
Controversy.
I like Up now more than I did, and I love the opening scene. The opening scene is so heart wrenching, and it's so iconic.
Just want to cry.
It's so sad, and I love that it was a movie. I love that it was. It's weird. It's the reason why I love it is also the reason why it's ranked low. Is
Oh no! Please
it's
explain.
because it was about characters that you don't normally see in films. It was about an old man, and you don't, it was about an old man, and he was trying to go to the place that him and his love were going to go to, and then it's about this little Boy Scout that gets along with it. It's a ragtag team of characters that you kind of wouldn't expect a Pixar movie to focus on, but that's what I love about Pixar is it focuses on characters you don't normally see stories about. But for that reason, I was also kind of like, this is a good story, but I really like the fantasy
weird.
elements of all the other stories just a little bit more. So that's why it's kind of
Okay.
lower on my list, just because compared to the others, I would watch them first. But
Oh, fair. The next one we're going to do, so we can get Osama and then Tessa in on this, is we're going to do 15 through
Okay.
13 rankings. So number 15, I put A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life is one that I am very nostalgic about. It's one of the first ones that I saw and could continue to rewatch over and over. I also really relate to Flick a lot in it. Yeah, so I just think that the story is cute. You can tell that it's one of their earlier ones because the animation is a little rougher, but for the time when it did come out, it was still really pretty revolutionary.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I also like the idea of an ant in a big world that was like stories that have been done like that. But it does come up with fierce competition because of the next two, which is why it had to rank lower for me. 14 was Toy Story 4. And I've said this before. The reason I didn't enjoy Toy Story 4 as much as I thought I was going to is because I love where Toy Story 3 leaves off. It's very like it's all wrapped up, it's sweet, and you think that everybody's going to have this happy ending, and then Toy Story 4 is like, oh really? we'll show you. It does end on a happy note, but for me it just didn't feel like a Toy Story movie. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody. I don't know why it doesn't. It might just be because the dynamic I think it's because the dynamic changed a lot between Buzz and Woody, where they weren't together as much as they had been in the first three.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
It was mainly about Woody's evolution as a toy. It was very interesting. I really liked it. It's just, for some reason, doesn't feel like a Toy Story movie to me. And then 13 for me was Toy Story 2.
Okay, got it.
I still love the Toy Story franchise. Toy Story 2 is really good. I think that it still follows the same arc for those toys, and I think it's sweet. I think it's fun. Plus, I think Toy Story is just a staple of Pixar, so it's like, here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But I also like it because that's when we get introduced to, like, Jessie and stuff, so we get some more fun into that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my 15 to 13. What are yours?
So my 15 to 13, I have 15 as Inside Out. Yeah, so...
Another controversy about to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I still love... I saw that in the theaters, and I cried when the spoiler death happened. I won't say what death, but there is a spoiler death. I won't say which character, but there is a death.
I think the spoiler is already the death that you just
said. Okay, true. Yeah, so I was sad at that moment. And it made me cry, and I was so upset, but at the same time, and it also was so, it felt really, I was around the same age as Riley, so it was like puberty. I was like, oh, sad Riley times. But
the sad times.
I don't know. Ultimately, like, I saw it and I was like, that was really, that was really good. I loved the colors of everything, but just something about, I don't know, like, the story didn't speak to me as much as some of the others did. I still loved it.
Fair.
But and I loved Sadness's evolution through that, as well as Joy's. I loved Joy and Sadness's evolution throughout it, but I think it was the fact that I felt like it focused a lot on them, and that, like, sadness and anger and disgust, they felt kind of like more side characters to me, or comic relief, but I still really liked it. Number 14 was Monsters University. I really liked that one, and I really liked seeing Sully and Mike's relationship bloom and kind of seeing where everyone else started out. And yeah, it just made me laugh. I just loved exploring, like, the different challenges that they had to do throughout the I forget what it was called, like the Scare-athlon, maybe, I don't know.
The Scare Games.
Yes, the Scare Games.
I think it's the Scare Games.
I loved all of those, and I think there's a big nostalgia factor for me there too. but yeah, something about university like frat and sorority, like those groups. I just love that. I love the symbols of them.
They
And I
really
love
nailed
stories
it on
about
the
them.
head with the. They kind of
Yeah.
nailed it on the head for the
Mhm.
college, like what college
Yeah.
might look like.
Yeah, I think my grandfather is like a custodian for a couple sororities, so it might have brought back fun memories of that. 13. So 13, I think this is also going to be a big controversy. 13 for me is Toy Story 3. Um, yeah,
Oh.
it might just be I haven't seen that.
This is when we find out that Lucas and I hate each
Yes,
other.
this is when
secretly.
the truth will come out. So I don't know. I might.
Tessa's shaking her
Yeah,
head.
I know.
She's like she's disappointed.
disappointed in me.
It's okay. I still love you.
Thank you.
I don't think she did. I didn't
But a
hear
little
the belief in her voice.
Maybe you do, but a little less. Just a little less. You know, like it's just like your love meter just went down just a little bit. You're like,
okay, explain your
we
weird
were-
choice to
yes.
put Toy Story 3 so low.
It might just be because I haven't seen it in a while, but when it came out in theaters, honestly for the same reason that you said you didn't like but the reason that you kind of put Toy Story 4 a little lower down is it didn't feel like a Toy Story movie to me. Weirdly enough, I don't know. I did love the way all of the toys looked, and I loved Lotso and his fur, and all of the. I loved the day. I don't know. I think it was probably the fact that Andy was grown up, and I was just too sad about that. I was like, no, he's not gonna play with him anymore. And the fact they were all sad, and then they were close to death. Like it was so powerful, but it also just made me. It made me sad, and I just wasn't as attracted to the story as I was a couple of the others.
Okay, cool beans.
So
now we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna move on to 12 and 11, and now because I know you guys forgot that they were here, Osama is gonna jump in, and then we're gonna hit 10, and then Tessa's gonna jump in, and we're finally all gonna be here.
Did you almost call her Otessa?
Yeah,
Tessa's here.
Otessa. My wife, Otessa, that's her.
All right.
So since Lucas and I have done all the talking so far, let's bring in your 12 and 11 rankings, Osama.
Yes.
My 12 is A Bug's Life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just didn't vibe with that movie as a kid, and
That's a good explanation. I like that explanation. I didn't vibe with it.
I just didn't vibe with it as a kid. And on top of that, after I saw that meme about the caterpillar, I just can't watch it anymore.
I know what you're talking
I don't
about.
want to. Do I want to? I don't think I want to.
No.
I don't know what it's about, but I don't want to.
We'd-
I don't think.
We'd have to make the channel not safe for work. So.
Okay.
My 11 is Toy Story 2. Toy Story has never been one of my favorites. It's still something I like. I enjoy it, but it has never been one of my favorites. And the main reason why I enjoy it is because of Buzz.
Mm.
Yeah,
So.
Buzz is pretty good. He's a freaking idiot, but he's great. Okay, that's cool. That's a good ranking. What is yours, Lucas? Your 12 and 11.
My 12 is Wall-E.
The controversy is coming again.
There's so much controversy.
The controversy train is like coming straight into a collision.
A little less.
I love. You're like we were at good friends, and that's slowly dropping to acquaintance. So
You guys
It's
remember
video
when
game stats.
Elo has that evil meter for Stitch? She has that for all of us, but your meter just keeps
just
going
up.
down.
It's going down. I love it.
It's going down.
It's going down.
I'm calling timber.
What are you doing?
I-
Go ahead.
I love Wall-E, and I love the sci-fi aspect of that entire world. I loved that. And I loved the story of Wall-E. I love, he's trying to save the little plant, and he's trying to impress his robot girlfriend. It was so cute. But yeah, I just didn't vibe with it as a kid, probably because there wasn't a lot of talking, and so I didn't feel like I could relate to the I don't know, like the beeps are cute. Again, a lot of it's weird because I haven't seen a lot of these in a long time, so I'm basing it like off of my impression when I was like 8. So I'm sure my tastes
Fair.
have changed since then, but I don't know. When I first saw it, it was like cute, and I think I just didn't quite vibe with like the lack of color and life in the story. Even though it's a part of the story, it just wasn't. I don't know. Just the like my excuse is always just there were ones that I liked better. It's so weird.
It's
like
fair,
I have
you know?
it. Yeah, it sucks because I have like my favorites, which are like 5 of them, and then my least favorites, which are like 2 of them, and then all of the others squished
That just
between. So I would say just what.
Okay.
And then 11 for me. This is probably gonna be controversial again. 11 for me was Coco. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, the controversy train is coming
I
for
did
you.
cry.
Okay, no. Hold up. We have a more pressing matter. You stole my phrasing twice.
I did. I'm sorry. I like that phrasing. Vibe. I told you, man. I like that. I like vibing. I won't use it anymore. It's okay. I love you.
I'm the only one who gets the vibe on this video,
You're the
or
only one who
whatever
gets
it is.
I didn't quite feel for Wally. Ooh. Moving on. So I didn't quite.
Get back to Coco.
With Coco, I did cry at the very end. I cried, and it was a beautiful story. It was so I love the afterlife, and I loved the way all the colors were, and the songs, and everything. I think it's because I'd already seen I don't know if it was made by DreamWorks. I'd already seen the movie The Book of Life, so Coco felt like similar to that in like a lot of its themes. So kind of, I guess, maybe the originality of the story wasn't as there as it might have been if I hadn't seen that first. But yeah, just, story. I liked it, but I liked others better.
Yeah. That brings up a good point of a future episode to do is comparing DreamWorks versus Pixar.
Yeah.
Because they've been competitors since the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
When A Bug's Life was getting made, they started making ants, It's like...
I know.
You get those verses. It'd be interesting to compare the two. So for me, my 12 and 11 are now going to be the controversial placements. My number 12 for me was Ratatouille.
Yeah. Going down.
I think, right, the friendship meter has gone down. We're all going to hate each other by the end of this. Ratatouille is really cute. It really shows, like, determination, and I really like the saying that anyone can cook because it makes me think that anyone could do anything if they put their minds to it, But that it also kind of, in a weird way, reminded me of A Bug's Life.
Oh, yeah.
It's that whole, like, it's the underdog, it's the person who really has to, like, prove themselves that what they're doing is really good.
Yeah.
Ratatouille is super cute. It makes me hungry every time I watch it.
Same.
Very true.
It's super cute. But there are other movies that I place above it on ones that I would reach for to watch. Still, really enjoyable story. Really unique concept to have a rat be a chef, but still, really enjoyed it. Number 11, this is probably where the Big O controversy might pop up because nobody's placed it.
It's okay.
Yet.
We'll always
I put
be
The
friends.
Incredibles.
You're dead to me. Got it? Dead. I'd like
Did
to
you say what
resign.
I thought you said?
Right? Everyone hates me. Megan's gonna die
I'm
now.
sorry. Could you repeat that for me?
Wait, what?
1 second.
Why are we sentencing her?
Number 11, I placed The Incredibles.
Wow.
And it's not because I don't love The Incredibles. I deeply love them
Yeah.
so much. For me, it's because I didn't relate to any of the characters in any way, shape, or form.
I just heard
Tessa's dead and Lucas is like
heard Tessa's
dying.
what set me off was Tessa's little Just like the smallest. Of
Well,
just
okay,
so
okay.
disappointed.
Let's be reasonable here, people. Everyone's entitled to their opinions.
Yes.
Except in
Yes.
this
I know,
case
it
where
just
Megan's
hurts.
wrong.
Right. Unless of course they're stupid opinions. But anyways, please continue.
Go ahead, Megan.
Here's the thing. Once
What
we
is
got
the
to the
thing?
top 11, it was the most difficult thing to place any of these movies
Yeah.
because the top 11 are ones that I repeatedly go to over and over and over again to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was probably the most difficult decisions I had to make on these placements.
Yeah.
And the reason that sadly The Incredibles had to go a little lower is because I love it.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. It's so funny.
Mm.
I think it has a really heartwarming moment, especially when Bob is like, I can't do this without you. And it's like, so sweet. I love it. It's because I just couldn't really connect with any of the characters as much as I could with a whole bunch of the other stories that are going to pop up on the final 10 for me. I love them to death, and they will forever hold a nostalgic place in my heart. But I just couldn't relate to any of them. They all are really great characters, and I know that a lot of people do relate to them in some way, shape, or form, but I just couldn't, sadly. But still, it was really hard to place it anywhere. Like, it was so difficult to place my top 10, and then I had 11 to try and fit into my top 10. I was like, can just 11 also be the top 10? But it can't. So something had to fall into place. And it was really tough. For my 10 and 11 were a big, like, they kept switching for me. So when we get to 10, that'll be, that might explain why, because I'll have to go into reason why I picked 10 where it is.
Right.
So,
Same.
now that we're there, and now that everyone hates each other.
I don't hate anybody.
Well, actually, we don't hate Tessa yet, because we don't know
Right.
where she's placed anything.
Just hold on.
The hate's coming. It's coming.
The
Don't
hate's
you
coming.
worry.
Is this the last episode of the Viewers Club ever? Dun, dun, dun.
Perhaps.
There's the trailer.
Our 3 viewers
trailer.
are holding on with anticipation.
Oh, I hate
That was
you.
good. That was awesome.
See, now y'all hate
Okay.
me.
That was awesome.
I had made no enemies up until this point.
You're starting to make enemies now. It's like the war.
Hey, that's what I do best.
Okay.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Let's have Tessa give us her first
Oh, boy.
one. She's here now.
Hello.
You've been sitting waiting patiently.
In English.
Let's hear everybody's 10.
Okay.
Starting with Tessa. What was your
So-
number 10?
I already know you guys aren't gonna agree with me. My number 10 was Bug's Life, and okay.
If we're putting it in this, let's clarify. If we're putting it in the spectrum with how many you've seen,
Right.
Yeah.
That's the bottom
and
of the
whichever
list.
ones
right?
you've
That's
seen,
fine.
whichever ones you've also seen, it might be okay.
Right.
Okay, cool. Well, the reason being, I've only seen it once, and it was a long time ago. And I don't remember much about it. I don't know. In the
I know
words
there
of
was
Osama, I
ants.
guess it just didn't vibe.
Yeah.
Is everybody just gonna steal my phrasing now?
We're gonna put it on a
gave
shirt.
you credit.
Alright, fine. I'll allow that.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, that's my 10.
Okay. Yeah, it's really weird to try and number all of these because all of us have seen different numbers of Pixar movies. The only reason I can be angry with Lucas all the time is because he's seen just as much as I
Right.
have, pretty
Yeah.
much. So
That's fair.
I mean,
then now I'm gonna see if I hate him even more. Lucas, give me your number 10.
My number 10 is Incredibles 2.
oh wait, part 2 or as well?
Incredibles 2.
Oh,
Like
okay.
the sequel.
Okay.
I haven't
Okay.
said The Incredibles yet. So, Incredibles 2,
Deadeye looks at me.
I love The Incredibles, and I have really great memories watching it with my family. So I was really excited when the sequel came out, and I thought that it did a great job of building off of the existing characters and introducing that Jack had powers, and I just love the world. I love superpowers. Like I love the idea of having any of those superpowers. So as a kid, that really resonated with me. Same thing with like the X-Men and all that. So that's why that would be my number 10.
Okay, cool. Osama?
All right, my number 10, and I'm gonna have to ask you guys to curb your reactions.
Mm-hmm.
Finding Nemo.
Never.
It would have ended up lower, but
Megan just took a deep breath.
it would have ended up lower, but I didn't vibe as much with the other two. I vibed a little more with Finding Nemo.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas is about to explode.
Yeah, it's fine.
Megan's also on the verge of explosion.
It's okay.
To quote a comedian who made a lot of sense.
Mhm.
I don't know if I should include his name or not. Should I? You think?
I don't know. It really depends on who the comedian is.
It's a British comedian.
Ooh, we love those.
Well, anyways, to quote him, that movie makes me mad on the basis of the fact that the dad told the son not to do something, and what's the first thing the son does? He goes and does it, and now he has to go halfway across the ocean to go pick him up.
I'm going to quote myself from when we talked about Umbrella Academy, and we had this conversation with 5. I'm going to quote myself. When you tell a kid not to do something, their first instinct is, I'm going to do it.
Sorry, I'm on the parent side in this.
It's
Fair.
if he
I've
would have
babysat enough kids to know kids are... Yeah.
he just didn't have
Yeah.
all he had to do was not touch the butt.
Exactly.
And what did he do?
See, and that is wisdom all of us can live by.
Don't touch the butt.
How
Don't
many
touch
political
the butt.
scandals would be avoided if people listened to that?
Many.
Hey, you need consent
Moral
to
of
touch the
story,
butt.
Don't touch the butt.
Get consent to touch
Exactly.
the butt.
Touched.
Even in that case, it still has caused issues.
Okay.
Frickin' butt, man.
Alright.
We're gonna move on.
We're gonna move on.
My number 10, and again, this is where the controversy is going to come in because it fought with my number 11, which I already know Lucas hates me for.
I don't think you can get more controversial than what I just did, but all right.
Number 10, I put Brave down. So, Brave for me was probably the first time I related to a Pixar character in a while. And I say this really, really meaning that I love Pixar. If you look back at all of their movies, how many of them can you tell me have a female lead in them? They're not that many, you know? And so growing up with Pixar, I still love all of them. But it is nice to see, have representation for either your gender or the color of your skin or anything, you know? It is really nice to have that representation. So Brave really hit it home for me as something that had a strong, independent female lead who did mess up, but who also, like, fixed her problem, who tried to fix it and genuinely meant to fix her problem, and she changed and grew. So that's the reason why it also switched Incredibles a little lower for me. Again, these two, like, flipped and flopped constantly. It was really hard to finalize this decision. So for me, number 10 is Brave. I really enjoyed it, and it was really nice to see finally Pixar creating a lead female character that actually had more screen time than the male characters did in their previous stuff. So
Yeah, definitely.
again, it's nice to have that representation in there.
Yeah.
So my next one, number 9. I'm going to do my number 9, then we're going to go down the list. My number 9 was Toy Story 3. Again, it was a really fitting conclusion. Gasp! We're all shocked. Toy Story 3 was a really fitting conclusion for me for the entire Toy Story franchise, which is why I was kind of like on the fence about seeing Toy Story 4 in general, because I don't know, I really liked Toy Story 3. I thought it had a really fitting end, and it gave hope that those toys would, 1, stay a family like they always had been doing, and then 2, that they'd get a second chance to make another kid happy, which is why I liked the way that it ended. It also made me cry a lot. Like, I was bawling. And I watch it, and I try to watch it. I try to and kind of also unintentionally watch it pretty frequently, so... yeah.
Nice.
Osama, what is your number 9?
Un momento as I pull up my list. Okay, Curb Your Hatred again.
No.
My number 9 is Ratatouille.
Gasp!
No, you have to do it French. Gasp.
I think I might have
Gasps
enjoyed the
in
movie
French.
a little
Basket.
more if the
Or no,
first time.
gas. I'm sorry.
I might have enjoyed Ratatouille a little more
Yeah.
if the first time I had watched it had it been at a mandatory school function, and
Yeah,
after that it was
that'll
just
do
ruined
it.
for me.
Yeah.
That's
Fair
school
enough.
doesn't just ruin your love for education; it ruins your love for.
Yeah.
I mean-
That's why a couple of these are low on the list. Not gonna lie.
Although
I
the
can't believe
whole
you guys got to watch Pixar movies in school. I never got to.
school does not ruin everything. There is a movie in here that was part of a school function but didn't ruin it for me.
Mm.
But in this case, it was also I didn't vibe with it.
Mm.
That and the fact that I had
Dude, don't steal my thing.
that and the fact that I had my mortal enemy sitting next to me flicking popcorn at my ear the entire time.
Oh no.
Yeah, that'll probably make you hate a movie.
I
Pretty
guess.
good.
Mortal enemy.
Make it a little less
Yeah.
enjoyable.
Okay, Lucas, what was your number 9?
Number 9, not so controversial as you'd think. Number 9 for me was actually Brave. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I liked.
I hate you less.
Yeah.
Like-
Oh, good.
The friendship meter is going back
yes.
up.
So I loved Brave for a couple. I loved that it was fantasy. I loved that it was. I loved the story. I loved all the visuals, and it's Scottish. How could you not love those accents? That was my favorite. I loved hearing every character speak. Like every dialogue exchange was just a kiss from an angel. So I loved that whole. I loved that. I loved the way the character. I loved Merida. I loved her whole. I loved.
The Viewers Club takes a
her
second to
story.
interject and say
Yeah.
that Lucas's fantasies are in no way part of our ranking system.
Well, they are now.
Says you.
Yeah. So yeah, I loved that story, and I loved the relationship between Merida and her mom.
Mhm.
I loved that crazy old woman. I loved all the Easter eggs in her shop for other Pixar movies. Yeah,
Mhm.
Brave.
Nice.
Speaking of Easter
Okay,
eggs,
so I hate you less now.
speaking of
Cool.
Easter eggs, I just want to bring up, we still have not addressed the fact that John Ratzenberger has been in a bunch of these movies.
Yeah, because isn't that like their thing where they put him in like every movie they make?
Oh yeah, he was Gordon the Guard in Brave, the construction foreman Tom in Up, Mac and Cars.
It's like his thing.
Huh?
It's like his
Yeah,
thing.
Mac and Cars 1 and 2, John and Wally, Fishing School and Finding Nemo, Mustafa and Ratatouille, Abominable
I
Snowman and Monsters,
No idea.
The Underminer in The Incredibles,
And Incredibles
The
too.
Flea in A Bug's Life, and
Listen, Osama, the reason I didn't bring it up is because we'd have to note. It'd be easier to note which Pixar movies he wasn't in. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Not to mention, I just assumed that everybody knew
I
he was
did
in
not
it,
know
especially
of his
in that.
existence. That was interesting.
Yeah, in Cars 1, there's that whole
and you
like
call yourself
bit
a Lucas
that they
fan?
do.
You call yourself a Pixar fan, Lucas?
I claim to be neither of those.
Hey, I'm a Lucas fan, fight me.
Oh, thank you.
No, not
I
you.
mean, fight me.
Okay, before I forget where we're at 9 with Tessa.
Yeah.
Tessa, what was your number 9?
So my number 9 would be the original Toy Story. I love it for nostalgic reasons. It's number 9 though because they had limitations on on their animation. And
I
A little
it could
stiff.
be very
Um,
creepy.
I never
Looking back at
realized.
it.
Sid is
I
so
never-
scary.
I never realized that all of the children at Andy's birthday party were Andy. I never
For him.
realized that.
It's like,
Wait,
it's really
what?
good, right?
They're all Andy.
Yeah.
They're all Andy.
they're all the same character model, which makes
Andy.
like
it's so crazy.
And here's what I'll give props to Toy Story 4 is that the human models look so good.
They did.
They creeped me out how good that those models looked compared to where they started. It's like, yeah, but like I think aren't all of the character models just basically a rendition of what
Probably.
Andy looked like?
Yeah.
It was
I'm looking at the picture now. It's just Andy with red hair, Andy with a hat, Andy with. That's so funny.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh no.
Let's just acknowledge and give a round of applause to how far Pixar has come in these.
Yes.
Yes.
They have come.
They've come very far. They're extremely talented. I wish I was as talented as they were with the way that they
Right?
do that. Okay, we're gonna move on to number 8 now. Number 8 for me was Onward. I don't know if it'll be controversial because it is very new to the Pixar universe.
It is controversial. You're dead to me, but continue.
Fine, whatever. I put Onward at number 8 because, one, I've only seen it once. So I can't have a very strong connection to it. But I did really like some of the new concepts that they did introduce you into it. You know, there was that thing, you and I, Lucas, talked about this before. There was that introduction to, like, the first LGBT character that they had in Pixar. And it was super subtle. It wasn't, like, trying to brag about it or boast about it or anything and being like, we're gay, you know what I mean?
Gay.
It was very...
Have you seen that video?
It was very subtle.
Yeah.
It was very subtle, and I think it was really well done. I also really liked that it was a single mother raising 2 boys, but also still having a romantic life after the death of her first husband. Because it's very easy for Pixar to be like, her husband died, she never moved on, and I'm like, that's not entirely true.
She moved on.
You know,
Onward.
she
did.
Onward. There it is. I don't know if you guys know that that's why it's called Onward.
That's why it's called Onward, because the mom wanted some tail.
And I also really liked it. I also really liked it because of the connection to the original creator of the story for Onward. He was writing it because he wanted to, at some point, meet his dad, who he never got the chance to meet. It was really sweet. This was a movie that made me cry so much. It was really well done. It was really beautiful. And that's why I put it at number 8 for me. Tessa, what was your number 8?
My number 8 is Toy Story 2.
Okay.
I think you kind of nailed it earlier on in the conversation, how they were just like introducing all the new characters and stuff. It was really fun. I'd go back and rewatch it. So that's mine.
Yeah, like it. Toy Story, staple of Pixar. Nothing, you can't change my mind. It is. Osama, what was your number 8?
WALL-E.
Okay.
I liked it.
Less controversial with you. I'm going after Lucas.
I liked it. The video game, not so much. The video game was not that fun.
The video game?
No, I did watch the movie.
Yeah.
And I actually watched it in theaters. And I think the reason why I just can't enjoy it as much is because as we were leaving the theaters, my mom turns to me and my sister and goes, "That could happen, you know."
That could happen. Yeah.
And I was a
perception
kid.
of all of the
I was a
movies
kid, so
comes from the
it kind
outside
of
world.
stuck in my head. So every time I see the movie, I just think, "Oh my god."
We're gonna get fat and go to space. That's what I think.
All little
to be
marshmallow
fair,
people.
the populace has already met half of that.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh man. Okay. Lucas.
Uh,
Let's see if I'm gonna hate you anymore.
I don't think so. Number 8 was Toy Story 4. It was Toy Story 4 for me. I absolutely could not get over the visuals in the whole film. I loved the way the cat looked. I loved the way the fur looked. I loved the antique shop. I have a lot of memories in antique shops. Not good memories, but they still brought up nostalgia nonetheless.
You know those little antique garden gnomes they sell? Lucas used to be one.
That was me, yeah. Yeah,
Did you ever think Dust was prettier? Like, let's be honest,
I-
the dust was really
the
pretty.
Dust looked beautiful. I never thought I would ever love Dust as much as I did watching that film. So I loved that. My one complaint with that film was that I wished we could have seen more Buzz and Jesse. That was the one thing that I didn't.
Mhm.
I wanted more of them. It just felt,
Mhm.
I liked the way it ended, though. I liked the way it completed Woody's arc, and I loved Bo Peep.
Mhm.
I loved Bo Peep.
Bo Peep was a
Bo
badass.
Peep was awesome, and I loved it because it totally just felt like they were old. They used to date and they'd gone their separate ways, and now she was a free
They never
spirit,
got over
and
each
he
other.
was so rigid. It felt like such a classic
Mhm.
love story. So, liked it.
Yeah. I think going back to Toy Story 4, because now that you brought it up and you were like, I wanted more Buzz,
Mhm.
I will say the one thing I didn't
Mhm.
like about Buzz in this movie was that he seemed to get stupider from the last
He
movie he was
did,
in.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
He did.
And I was like, wait, why would he get stupider?
Why is
It
he
was like,
stupid?
was the whole thing with his conscience thing, like he didn't know what a conscience was,
Yeah.
so he just kept pushing his
My
to see
inner
what he was
voice.
supposed to do. That was like
Like,
the big thing that I
Buzz,
had. I was like, oh,
you
Buzz
know
got
what a
stupider.
conscience
That's kind of
is.
sad.
you know what a conscience is. Buzz.
You've had it in other episodes. You know what it is.
You've used it before.
Okay, nice. Number 7. I don't think I'm going to get much hate for where I've placed this one because we've already given hate to everybody else. Number 7 for me was Finding Nemo. It's very nostalgic for me. It's very cute. I absolutely love the story. Osama, get out. I don't know. I really liked it. I thought it was really sweet. It's a movie that makes me cry every time I watch it. And I just kind of like the whole, parents will go to the ends of the earth to save their kids sort of
Depends on how much of a brat
thing.
they are.
And Listen. Listen.
Have you
Yeah.
ever seen?
So that's where...
Have you ever seen The Good Son? That's Osama's mentality.
They really
yeah,
should have made
but
a second season for that show.
Hmm.
Oh no, wait, not that. I'm thinking The Good Cop. Never mind.
We're going to move on. We're getting
We're
off
gonna move
Pixar.
on.
We're gonna
I'm
move
always
on.
off track.
Yeah. So, number 7 for me is Finding Nemo. Osama, what was your number 7?
Cars 2. I love Larry the Cable Guy. Good comedian.
Okay.
Not the best voice actor, but still funny to see him in a truck.
Yeah.
Honestly, the main reason why I watched Cars was just for Mater.
Yeah.
But Cars 2 I liked. I liked the whole wasabi joke.
I love it.
I liked the whole secret agent thing. And I liked the fact that it was a Mater-centered movie.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, that's my 7.
Okay. Lucas?
My 7's Toy Story, the first one.
Okay.
Oh, I just dropped my eraser. I don't know why I'm playing with the eraser. So I what can I say? It's beautiful. It's such a great story, and I think I love
It's their first masterpiece.
their first masterpiece. It was so cool seeing toys come to life, and a little creepy. And then Sid's house terrified me. I couldn't get over the baby doll that was also a spider.
Yeah.
That freaked me out beyond
Oh my
belief.
gosh.
But and then for some reason I loved
So
I
play
loved
nice.
Pizza Planet. I wanted to go there. So for some reason that sticks out most in my mind. And I think that's why
Listen,
the biggest nostalgia thing is Pizza Planet, and that's why Toy Story is number 7. It's Pizza Planet.
it's like listen, Disneyland. When
Make
you're gonna
Pizza...
start redoing things,
Yes.
put a Pizza Planet in.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Just do it for us. For the love of God, do it for us.
Over the fence.
And hopefully one of our 3
Tessa.
viewers, it does work at Disney.
Yeah.
Listen. Listen. Tessa, what was your number
My
7?
number 7 was also Finding Nemo. Yay!
Oh, there's
Ding,
that
ding, ding,
sound. Ding,
Oh
ding,
my
ding.
gosh.
It finally happened. I was getting worried that it wasn't
I
going
know,
to happen.
right when you said it, I gasped to myself. I'm like, oh, say something. But yeah,
You know what's funny?
Same
Or,
reasons.
sorry.
So, yeah,
Wow.
it's very nostalgic.
Yeah.
Cried.
What's funny
Laugh.
is
Both of us are like, get out, Osama.
when I was trying to pick my number 7, it was a toss-up between either Toy Story 1 or Cars 2, but I ended up picking Cars 2. If I'd picked Toy Story 1, we would have all hit 7.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's really funny. But it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
And
Nice.
you're
I can't believe we
wrong.
actually agreed on one. I thought we were all going to be agreeing on a whole lot
Yeah,
more.
And then,
But,
we're all
like-
gonna be like,
No, I had a
Never
feeling.
Never mind,
we
we're all
might
going to
be
hate
agreeing
each
on
other.
Yeah,
Who knew
there's
that Pixar
21
would tear
movies.
apart our friendship?
cool.
Who knew Pixar would be the thing that tore apart
It's
our
so
friendship?
polarizing.
Tessa and I are back to
Okay,
normal now that
we
we
are
agreed
good
on
now.
Finding Nemo.
Good.
We're good. We're
Doesn't
We've
that mean
leveled
we're
back
all
out,
back
we're
to
good.
normal? Hasn't it always been you and Tessa on good terms and me and Lucas just hanging in the balance?
Yeah.
no, Tessa and I had a few
Yeah.
disagreements, but
When over who did more
I can't remember
taxes.
them, but I'll show them now. Yeah, taxes. Yep, taxes, man. Okay, let's do number 6. For me, it was Toy Story, which seems to line up pretty closely with a few other people as well. Toy Story was like the first. It's the first Pixar movie ever made. 2, it was probably the first Pixar movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it stuck with me. It might be because I was a really little
Mhm.
when I first saw it. And I know I have some memories of me trying to set up my toys in a way where I would leave the room and try and catch them moving.
God.
That was last night.
Yes.
None of
No,
them
I was
moved,
really
right?
young when I used to do that, but none of them moved.
Good,
It was
yeah.
like,
I'd be scared.
they all moved. It was, yeah, but I don't know. Toy
Yeah.
Story was kind of just like a really good starting point
Mhm.
for Pixar. You know, it's a very simple story. It's like, what do toys do when we're not around? It's like, let's give them a soul. You know, let's just see what shenanigans they get into. And I really liked it, and I like the concept that a toy is loyal to whichever kid they have it, which
Yeah.
also made me really sad when I was younger about getting rid of toys. Because I was like, I don't want them to feel like I don't love them.
Same. Oh,
And
man.
plus that whole like representation of like, one, they had the floor from The Shining in Sid's house, which is fitting, and then
I did
2,
not
they
notice
basically
that.
had a zombie apocalypse, right? And then 2, they had a zombie apocalypse in Sid's backyard to traumatize him forever, and I really
Yeah.
like that.
You need some trauma.
That's my number 6. Yeah, exactly. He needs some trauma to grow. I mean, Sid was fine. He became a dumpster.
Sid was-
like, he worked at the garbage.
Sid walked so Joffrey Baratheon could run. Just saying.
Now who's getting off topic?
Back on topic. 6, Osama.
Toy Story.
Oh, there's the next.
Woo!
Matching up again.
So Toy Story, I had no choice but to like it because when I was a kid, we only had 5 videotapes for the VCR, and that was one of them.
So it was brainwashed into you. I
It
like
was
this
brainwashed.
movie.
Yeah. Wow. Love it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Tessa, what was your number 6?
For number 6, I have Inside Out. I thought it was a really cute movie,
Okay.
and it took a different
Mhm.
perspective. It addressed more of like
Yeah.
mental health and emotions, and I love
Yeah.
it.
Mhm. Yeah. I love it.
Beautiful.
I love it.
I don't care.
I'm good at that song on Just Dance. Anyway, sorry.
We'll see. Competition being thrown down later. Lucas, what is your number 6?
Number 6 for me was Toy Story 2. I grew up with like the Pixar movies that I watched the most were definitely Toy Story 2 and Toy Story. I had them in like a bundle, and
Mhm.
I for some reason always got Toy Story 2 and 1 mixed up, even though it makes no sense chronologically. Like I don't get how my brain messed it up, but I was like, Sid is in number 2 and Jesse is in number 1. I don't know what happened with my brain.
But Jesse's not in number 2.
Right. I don't know. My brain was 5.
Mhm.
So I like yeah. Yes.
I'll give you some
Osama.
leeway on that. Your brain was 5.
It was 5. It,
We'll
like,
talk about
literal-
this later. We'll talk about this later along when we talk about the whole James thing, but I have a question about Toy Story 2.
Yes.
Later on, we can discuss
Okay.
that, but still, just want to bring it up now.
Okay.
Got it. I don't know why I don't know why I like Toy Story 2 so much. I think I just liked the story, and it always made me sad that Jessie got abandoned, and I love Jessie. So like that was such emotionally gripping, and it was just so satisfying seeing Woody like polished up. That just makes me so happy whenever I see. Yeah,
So
made
true.
me so happy.
Brand new.
And seeing like the toy store that was
the
probably
different
also
aisles.
Yes.
That was one of my favorites.
Tessa, you get me.
I'm with you on that.
And Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 has a line in it that makes me solidifies why I didn't like Buzz in Toy Story 4. Buzz said basically he was like, it was something along the lines of like what being loved through glass, where he says that. You know what I'm talking about? Trying to convince Woody not to go to the museum. He's like, yeah, seeing children being loved through glass. What kind of toy is that? Toy life is that? You know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
And that's where Toy Story 4 kind of ruined Buzz for me. Where I'm like, how could he get so stupid?
Yeah, I felt like he regressed a bit.
Yeah. Anyway, that goes back to Toy Story 4.
No, you're fine. I don't know why. Toy Story 2 just always gave me the biggest nostalgia and the biggest joy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's fair. It was really nice.
Story 2.
Did everyone get through? Everyone got 6,
yep.
Right? So we're kind of on the same page as far as Toy Story goes.
I have like Toy Story 2, Toy Story 1, and Toy Story 4 are like all in the same column.
Okay, we're getting into our top 5, guys. So I don't know about you, this was probably the most difficult section. I'm still really uncertain about where I put some of them, because some of them are still flipping in my head, but I'm not going to move them anymore. They're going to stay where they're at. Number 5 for me was Monsters, Inc. Just as Toy Story 2 holds the big nostalgia for you, Monsters, Inc. for some reason represents Pixar nostalgia for me. I really liked the concept of traveling through different worlds, and I really liked the ending where instead of going back to scaring kids, they are like, we're gonna make them laugh. And that has more, and the whole thing is like, that has more power. Plus the ending of it where Sully gets to go back to see Boo, and you hear Kitty, and then his face smiles, and I'm dying because I'm about to start crying now. It was so sweet. I loved watching Sully become attached to Boo, and Boo is adorable. So Monsters, Inc. lands on 5 for me.
Got it. Okay.
Let's see, Lucas, what is your number 5?
Well, we almost tied, but number 5 for me is I switched it around. Okay. Well, number 5 for me is Ratatouille. Always makes me hungry. Always makes me happy, and I just love the story on a whole. He was controlling him through the hat, and just I love the love story between Linguini and I forget what her name is. I feel bad. Linguini. Yeah, like him saying that has the same energy of the boss from Pixar going Bob or no part. Like that has the same energy. So, but I love Ratatouille.
Linguini.
That opening.
I'm gonna put both of them side by side.
Linguini.
Like that rat made me love. It made me want to eat the garbage food that he cooked. Like that's how good the food looked in that film.
Garbage food.
See, this is just further proof that Lucas used to be a gnome.
Yeah, I was. A gnome was my first D&D character, so you're not too far off.
I love that. Tessa, what was your rank number 5?
Okay. So, purely for nostalgic reasons, I chose Cars as my number 5. Because it was...
Ooh, that's
I
high.
know. It was a movie that my siblings and I would watch, and we'd quote regularly, especially with Terminator. So
Aww.
it's up there for me.
I love Mater.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a good place to put it. I think most of us are either going for nostalgia. I would say that, except for I think mine are based on emotional impact.
Like,
I don't care. A good number of my choices have been picked just based on trying to sow chaos, but
right. I don't hate. That's what
Okay.
sucks is I don't hate any of them. I love all of them.
Yeah,
But you gotta.
which is what makes these lists so difficult
It's
to do.
so sad.
Osama, what was your number
All right,
5?
first before I say my number 5, I want to tell Lucas something. We have to
Yes.
talk about Ratatouille too, along with the 2 other things.
Okay.
All right.
We have a lot to discuss.
Yes, we do. 5 is Monsters University.
Oh, very close. You and I are very
Just
close.
because me, my mom, my sister went to go see it together. This is a sentimental value thing.
Aw.
Oh, I like that.
See, and this is why I don't like saying stuff like that, because I get the aw.
Aww.
Yes.
You asked for that.
Sentimental value.
Listen, Pixar is a big aw moment.
Aw.
Can we get an on the chat?
No. Plus, it's
Do
not
it.
like our 3 viewers want to type into the chat.
Hey,
Listen, you need to stop saying we have
3
3 viewers.
viewers.
We have at least
Comment
9.
aw.
Ew.
and you'll get
Appreciate
premium membership.
Appreciate our
Premium
11
membership is
subscribers.
just
We
the sound of
appreciate
Lucas
you,
trying to
11
do different
subscribers.
characters from various movies.
Exactly.
Listen,
You know you
we
love it.
appreciate our 11 subscribers. We
Yes.
appreciate
We
them so
do.
much.
We love
We
you.
do.
Alright, but yeah, that was my 5.
Nice.
Nice. Okay. Number 4 for me, big nostalgia, and it's probably another movie that is why I want to be a filmmaker, is WALL-E.
Aw,
Mm.
that's cute.
Aww.
WALL-E is... WALL-E, I remember begging my mom to buy it when iPods were still a
Yeah.
thing. You
Yeah.
know? So I had it on my iPod and I'd watch it
Aw.
on the little square screen on the plane. And I don't know, I really liked it because I know that you guys were like, it's a silent film. I didn't really like it primarily for that. Not because you hated it because it was a silent film, but because of
It just
when you
didn't-
saw it and how old
Yeah.
you were when you watched it. But for me, it's one that I go to constantly.
Mhm.
I absolutely love the story. I almost wish it was almost entirely a silent
Yeah.
film, but I also think it shows the power of what Pixar can really
Yeah.
do with movies, is that they can make you sit down and watch an entire movie where most of it is
Mhm.
silent and the main characters say very little
Yeah.
lines. Not to mention it was absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
All of it was beautiful. So yeah, WALL-E, big nostalgia for me. Big big reason why I want to make movies, and if I was an animator, I would love to make a Pixar movie.
Yeah,
With
definitely.
Pixar. Please let me make a movie with you. Like just anyway. Lucas, what is your number 4 spot?
My number 4 is Monsters Inc. Yeah, I love that film, and I watched it over and over again as a kid. I love all of the characters, and I love all of the monsters. I always thought that was so cool as a kid. That was just I loved seeing all the different monsters and kind of like imagining, one of those doors is my room. You know, I could meet a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the ending when they were, making kids laugh. And I loved Boo. She was cute. And then I loved the relationship between Mike and so Mike was a lot. I was rewatching it. He was like a lot more almost heartless towards Boo at the beginning than I remembered.
It kind of made sense though. Honestly.
It did, but like as a kid, I was just like, he's just being funny. So, I just loved that, and that I think, what was her name? The lady, the slug lady, Mike Wazowski.
Ross?
She's my favorite character. Yes,
Roz,
she's my
number
favorite
1.
character.
Number 1 will
I
want to
love
talk to you.
that. I love me and my parents still quote her to this day
Always watch.
and act like that to each other. So yeah, a lot of warm memories.
Always watching. Nice. Tessa, what was your number 4?
My number 4 was Wally as well.
Oh,
I love that movie. It's adorable, and like you said, they were really creative in being able to like have storytelling instead of like using so many words. So I
Mhm.
loved it. It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
The visual
Made you-
rather than
Yeah.
the
Made you
vocal,
care for a character with only beeps.
Yeah.
right? Mo is a great example. Where he's just trying to clean Wally.
Right.
He's on the screen for
Yes.
5 minutes, and I'm like, I'm rooting
I
for
love
you,
you. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Did we already hit you, Osama, for number
Yes.
4? For the time. Where I got everybody for 4?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. This is our top 3,
Oh, no, wait.
guys.
No, you didn't.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Osama, number 4.
My number 4 is Cars.
Nice.
Okay.
Aw,
Nice.
we were close.
Yeah.
My number 4 was Cars for not necessarily nostalgia reasons, but more of, I kind of liked, despite the fact all the characters were cars, it did represent a lot of different diversities.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I did like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Good point.
Okay, we're in our top 3, guys. How difficult was it for you to choose your top 3?
Not that really
'Cause
difficult.
I'm
Honestly,
still...
not difficult. but,
It was.
It wasn't?
clear.
yeah.
Except for third
It
place
was not for
kinda
me.
Iffy.
Yeah, third place was
Yeah.
up in the air.
Okay, so number 3 for me was Coco.
Oh.
Ooh.
I loved the beauty in
Yeah.
it. I liked that they, in a weird way, taught kids about. Not like this is weird to say. But they actually taught kids about death and how to handle mourning and grief and stuff in a
Yeah.
really beautiful way through a beautiful culture. Like you said, the music is, like you said earlier, Lucas. Like the music is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, and it's one that I watch constantly. I saw it in theaters with one of my friends, and it was like
Same, yeah.
yeah,
Good
it really
memory.
hit me, and it was really pretty. Yeah, I just really liked Coco a lot, so it really ranked high for me. Weirdly enough, I can't believe that it ranked higher than some of the ones that hold more nostalgia for me. But as far as like what moves me more emotionally, Coco is up there.
Yeah.
So
I still need to see that.
Tessa, yeah, it's really good. You'll love it.
Yeah.
Tessa, what is your
My
number 3?
3 is Up. I really thought it was a really
Yeah.
cute
I can
movie.
see why a lot of my choices were controversial.
Lucas's understanding
Yes.
why the hate towards him is strong.
Yeah, it made me cry and laugh, and it was a really cute movie. I really liked it. I like the story too.
Osama, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Up.
Oh! Lucas is the only one who's not matching up with anybody.
No, based on I'm not gonna tie with anybody after my
I matched
choices.
up with Megan. With Tessa. Did I match up with
Yeah,
Lucas?
Lucas hasn't meshed up with anybody.
No, we almost matched up, but we didn't.
Almost.
I have a
So
feeling
close,
before the
but
end, you and I will match up.
Maybe.
we have 2 more slots,
Maybe.
so we'll find out.
But yeah, no. Main reason why I like Up was it was a good movie. I saw it at a school function, but that did not detract from it because that movie was a lot better with ice cream. Just saying.
Fair.
Yes.
Totally fair.
You know what? You're right.
You right.
And it's like those
Right.
things you're always gonna associate. For example, I was sick way back when I had stomach flu, and I read the 7th book of the Chronicles of Narnia.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Because of that, I cannot read that book again. Anytime I try, I get
Oh.
nauseated.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So it's kind of like that. You associate, and so now
Yeah.
I associate strawberry ice cream with Up.
I think Wally was at a school function for me, so that's probably why. But
Yeah. Lucas,
yes,
what's your number 3?
number 3 for me was actually Onward. Yeah,
Okay.
I saw it just before quarantine happened with my.
Oh, your last memory of the
It was
real
my
world.
last memory, and I cried. And it's a fantasy, so of course I love it. I love fantasy. I loved the story. I loved the relationship between the 2 brothers. And I really liked how it ended. I really thought that was a satisfying conclusion. And I also saw it with my D&D group, so I have a lot of fun memories of, we kind of there's a lot of D&D references throughout the film, and it's fantasy, so we all shared a lot of laughs. So it's ranks high up there, and I wrote a paper on it, so I had to get pretty close to it.
Fair. Yep, that is a really good one. It's one of their really great newest ones that they've made, I think, in a while. So, yeah. Beautiful work, guys. It was really good. Number 2. Okay, and then the big reveal for number 1. It'll be pretty obvious if people are paying attention for me, at the very least, but it's going to be interesting to see what they think for you guys. because Lucas is missing one, and then Tessa and Osama are missing more from their anthology.
If you're listening and you'd like to guess which ones we're missing, go to viewersclubkids.com.
We don't have that
or
website.
Or dial 1-800-VIEW-CLUB.
In the comments. In the comments. Number 2 for me, we almost matched up Osama and Tessa. We almost did. Number 2 for me is Up.
Oh my god,
It's
so close.
Yeah, it was really close. It goes back to that whole thing. The first 10 minutes are basically a silent movie in action. Super beautiful. And I loved the dynamics between a young boy who doesn't have a father figure and an older man who's kind of angry at the world. For valid reasons, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, but now he has the quote, the kid that he never had in his life, and I think it was really sweet. And Kevin is hysterical.
I love Kevin.
So...
I love Kevin.
So that's
Doug. That's Doug. I'm sorry. Yeah. I love
Snape. I like that he sends him on a Snape hunt also, where he's like, "You clap," and then you cry out Snape 3 times. Snape. Like, it was so cute. Yeah, and then the genuine love for each other kind of grew in that adventure, and I thought it was sweet. I'm wondering why the mom didn't press charges on Carl, though, for kidnapping her kid. But
it was unintentional napping.
He came back in one piece.
Let me just put it this way. British comedians are funny. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to move on to everyone's number 2. Osama, what was your number 2 choice?
Well, my number 2 was Monsters, Inc.
Okay.
For 2 reasons. The first was, it was one of those 5 VHS tapes we owned.
Yes.
The second reason is... Never mind. Mike Wazowski. That was the second reason. I was going to play when Boo says Mike Wazowski, but I accidentally opened the Polish version.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's such a good... Yeah. I love it for this reason.
For the fact that it's in Polish?
I didn't play the ear rape version. But, yeah. Okay.
And with that,
Thank
we
you
get
so
cited
much.
for language.
Woo! We'll
Okay.
bleep it out.
Tessa.
Or just remove it.
Okay, so for number 2, I have Ratatouille. It is
Yay.
a beautiful...
Now we're all hungry.
beautiful film. Yeah, and it always makes me hungry.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This is where Tessa and I disagreed. This is
Yep.
where our disagreement
Yep,
was.
it was.
But then it got leveled out when we both were like, Wally.
Yes.
Wally may have distracted, but I don't think it solved the issue.
It solved the issue. Don't worry about it.
We'll talk about it later.
No, we don't talk about it at all. If we talk about it, it addresses things. I don't want to address things. I want to bury things
Okay.
under the rug. We're
Okay,
getting too real.
moving on.
Okay, Lucas,
We'll
number
just say
2.
Number 2 for me was The Incredibles. I have so many good memories of that film from my childhood and from watching it with my parents, and I related to that family. Even though I don't have siblings, we quote that movie nonstop. Edna Mode is my hero, is all of my family's hero.
Edna's amazing.
Yeah. Do you remember Thunder or Dino Man? I don't know. No kids.
Pull yourself together!
Yeah. What are you talking about? You are lost again. My God, like my mom dies every time at that scene, and I love that. And I love, again, it's just the idea of having superpowers. So yeah, it's a lot of nostalgia.
That's great. I love that. Okay, time for the big
Mm.
number ones, guys. So I'm going to take the bullet
I
first.
think I know. I think I know which one yours is, Megan.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think it should be pretty clear which one's my favorite. Inside Out is my favorite. It's my number one choice, and I have some valid reasons why. I usually don't. I'm not associating it with like nostalgia purposes or anything. If we were talking about ranking these based on nostalgia, things would be moved around heavily. So, based purely on the fact that the reason why I loved it the most was that it gave a reason and gave an understanding for especially like young kids saying and justifying it's okay to have emotions, guys.
Right.
Like you don't have to bury them.
Absolutely.
It's actually not healthy for you to bury them is basically what I took from it. We watched it, my friends watched it in a psychology class, and then when I watched it we would discuss it together. And I don't know. I really like the beauty behind the concept of it, like emotions being physical people.
Yeah.
And then the whole concept of growing up and trying to process what you're feeling and being like, it's okay to associate different emotions with the same, like, memory, you know?
Yeah.
It's actually very normal and very healthy. And I found that really beautiful because I don't think a lot of kids' shows really tell you that having emotions are okay. In fact, in a lot of movies, the best way they can establish it is like, if you're an independent woman, you have no emotions. You don't cry at all, you know? It's like you're one emotion and that's it, and that's
moving.
kind of not a good.
Yeah, it's more moving when you're vulnerable, and that's the only time you can grow.
And then having that moment with Riley at the end where she finally addresses what she's really been feeling makes me cry all the time.
So
Yeah, I just think it's really powerful, and I think it comes with a really strong message of just accept your emotions and process them. The people that love you will understand and accept that those are the way that you're feeling. Plus, I also really like the theory that Riley may not identify, maybe like, doesn't identify as a girl or a guy, just neutral, you know what I mean?
I think you've told me about
like
this.
If you look at, yeah, it's that whole,
she
doesn't identify as non-binary, that's the word I was thinking of. She identifies as non-binary because if you look at all of the other emotions from like the dad, they're all men, and then from the mom they're all women, and even from the teenage boy they're all guys, you know. So the fact that her emotions are all in both genders kind of is like, oh, she's non-binary, that's really cute, and I really liked it. So I don't know if that was intentional or if it's just because of the actors they wanted to hire, but I think it was intentional, and I think it was pretty. And the movie's just great, and I really like it. So that was my number one choice. Was really hard to rank that.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, Lucas.
So
what's your number one?
My number one film is Finding Nemo. That film.
This is where that's where his hatred came from.
That's oh my god.
It's a good choice.
It just makes me so happy. I have so many. I could watch. I think the main reason being is that I could watch that movie anytime, anywhere, as many times as possible. I just love. It looks beautiful. All of the characters are so distinct and wonderful, and it made me laugh, and it never made me cry, but it made me just so. It was an emotional roller coaster, and the music was so perfect for like the whole film. It just I felt the tension, and you feel for you feel for the dad. I mean, it's like the whole it's just this epic journey of unconditional love that he's trying to find his family. It was Finding Nemo walked so Taken could run. So it's it's just that's what I think is the
okay. Imagine this. Imagine this.
So much.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson as a clownfish.
Yeah.
Asking you to give back his daughter.
I have a very particular set of skills.
I have a particular set of skills.
I have a particular set of gills.
I have a particular set of gills. But So many good memories of that film.
Crickets.
And I didn't realize that it was my favorite film until I put it in this list. It's still contested, but I think that I think that's my favorite.
Nice. Osama,
Yes.
what's your number one?
My number one is The Incredibles.
Woo!
Okay.
Because that's the one I've watched the most.
Mm.
Also, I
That's-
relate to... I liked Bob.
Yeah, me too.
I liked Bob, and I liked Syndrome.
Yeah.
Syndrome was a really good villain.
Also,
let's be
I
honest.
have something I forgot to say about Monsters, Inc. I just want to toss it out there real quick. That brought around one of the greatest dodgeball video games in history. Thank you.
Interesting.
I'm gonna have to put a clip of it up right now. Yeah, Syndrome was a. I'm not gonna lie. Syndrome has a stronger case to being a really good bad guy compared to some of the bigger budget live action.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although,
Let's be
you know,
honest.
now that we're on the subject, isn't Syndrome kind of like creepy dude from Umbrella Academy?
A bit, yeah.
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 Similar
a bit.
Yeah.
backstories.
The father
Yeah, except
a little
a
bit,
bit.
except for he didn't
Yeah.
kidnap children. He built technology.
Right.
No, but I'm saying similar backstories. They both got shunned by their
Yeah.
heroes,
And then they both turned real
and that's
creepy,
what drove
real
them
quick.
to destroy their heroes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the father. No, you're talking about
No.
the other kid. No, yeah,
Yeah.
they have a very similar.
Yeah, imagine deleted scene of Syndrome murdering his parents. Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Well, there is that deleted scene of Jack almost murdering the babysitter.
Yes.
I love
Yeah,
that.
but that's
I
Jack
love
Jack,
Jack
so
Jack.
we forgive
Oh
him.
my gosh.
Jack Jack attacks, the cutest thing ever.
Yes.
Okay, Tessa, that just leaves
Alright.
you.
Well,
What was your number one?
my number one.
Drum roll.
Bum, 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 bum,
Is The
bum,
Incredibles.
bum.
I know. Ding, ding, ding. So matched Osama on that one too.
See, if
Nice.
this proves anything, it's I'm a very agreeable person.
And I am chaos.
We knew that. You're chaos incarnate.
That's me.
Lucas just didn't align with anybody. We got
Nope.
close a few times.
Yeah, a couple times.
I honestly thought you were gonna pick Incredibles for your number one.
I almost did, but I weighed the two of them, and I was like,
Nemo wins.
I could.
I
think,
just realized.
Yeah,
I just realized we just ran over what Tessa was saying. Sorry about that.
you're fine.
That's fine.
Why are you apologizing
so-
for Tessa?
Oh,
Or why are you
I
saying
didn't know.
it's
I'm
okay?
sorry. I didn't know.
That's
I didn't know who you.
No, no,
I'm-
no.
Wow.
It's fine.
I'm-
We were already kind of talking about The Incredibles, but yes, I have the same feelings about The Incredibles. My siblings and I would watch it at any chance we could, and
Yeah.
we all know it by heart. It's great.
Same.
Aw.
Yeah,
I
I
love
thought
it.
you were talking to me. I'm sorry.
Last I checked, your name's not Tessa.
No, it's
It doesn't
not.
even sound like Tessa.
No, it doesn't.
Pixar deserves some credit and some shout out for literally making the movies of my childhood.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited to see Soul. Maybe when that comes out, after we all see it, and after you guys see the rest of the Pixar franchise, we'll come back and we'll do a different ranking system
Yeah.
and see where everything lands. Because that's the joy of Pixar. Maybe it doesn't land on the same number every time. So, yeah. This was really fun. I had fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Let us know in the comments where you guys rank all these Pixar movies. Rank them by the ones that you've seen. Let us know
Yeah.
where they fall. Do you agree with us? Do you hate all of us? We'll see if we lost any subscribers after
Yeah.
this video.
And just a quick shout out to our viewers at home.
Wow. Yeah. Our yeah.
Okay, this has been been the viewer.
Yeah.
This has been the viewers club ranks.
Yeah.
I'm Megan.
I am Osama Muhammad James Mazgouri.
Wow. I'm Tess.
I'm Lucas.
Thanks for watching, listening.
Thanks for listening, James.
Both.
Thanks for listening, James.
Thanks for listening.
That's our-
James.
I
It's our viewer.
Bye.
bye.